Usually when we picture uh, survival of the fittest, there's this expectation of tough armor. Like, I mean, think of a cactus in the desert, right?
Yeah.
But what do a miniature botanical rose, an Australian DJ, and an anime sniper actually have in common? We're taking you on a deep dive today into a pretty wild stack of sources to uncover a totally counterintuitive truth about resilience.
Yeah, we're looking at botanical research on miniature roses, some gardening guides, the biography of actor Ruby Rose, and lore from the animated show RWBY.
Which is quite the mix.
It really is. But our mission is to see how these literal, real, and fictional ruby roses overcome intensely hostile environments. We want to know what it actually takes to thrive when the odds are just totally stacked against you.
And I mean, I always thought of roses as incredibly fragile, but the botanical research we have actually says otherwise. There was this study done in Prayagraj, which, from what I understand, is a region in India with some seriously intense fluctuating agroclimatic conditions.
Right, we're talking extreme heat, unpredictable weather. It is definitely not a gentle environment.
Not at all.
Yet, researchers found that a miniature rose variety called Ruby didn't just survive there, it actually dominated. I mean, it yielded almost 286 flowers per plant and bloomed for 164 days.
Wow, that's huge.
But there is a catch. According to the gardening guides, roses are notorious divas.
Right, but why are they divas, though? Like, are they just genetically weak without perfect curated soil, or what?
Well, it's more about resource competition. They absolutely will not flourish if they have to fight for nutrients.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if they're planted next to invasive roots or near sunflowers, which are basically aphid magnets, they just wilt. But if you surround them with companion plants, like catmint,
Which acts like a personal hype squad, right?
functionally, yes. The catmint actively improves the environment. It chemically deters pests, which means the rose doesn't have to waste its own energy defending itself.
So the ruby has the genetic code to produce nearly 300 blooms, but that potential stays entirely locked away unless the environment allows it to drop its defenses.
Exactly. It needs to express those genes safely.
Wait, so resilience isn't just gritting your teeth and surviving the aphids. It's about finding the exact environment that unlocks your dormant potential. Which makes me wonder what happens when that companion plant logic is applied to a human being who gets planted in highly toxic soil.
Right, like the Australian actor and DJ Ruby Rose.
Exactly. Her biography outlines a childhood completely lacking any sort of hype squad.
It was intensely hostile. She faced horrific bullying over her gender-fluid, lesbian identity. We're talking being beaten with metal chairs by 50 peers and finding "We hate Ruby" graffiti on walls.
That's just awful.
It is. And even later, when she tried to enter the entertainment industry, they kept trying to box her in, telling her she was only fit for reality TV.
Okay, so if she's the flower in this scenario, she's basically surrounded by invasive roots trying to choke her out. But she didn't wilt. She produced a short film called Break Free, exploring her gender identity.
And the mechanism of how that film worked is crucial here. By releasing Break Free, she stopped letting the local Australian media dictate her identity. She broadcast her true self globally.
And didn't it get like 54 million views?
Yeah, a massive response.
So she effectively bypassed the toxic soil and attracted a worldwide audience. Her own companion plants, basically, which then pulled her straight into Hollywood acting roles.
Precisely. She actively engineered a new environment where her genetics, so to speak, could thrive.
But wait, she also changed her physical appearance drastically during this time. You know, tattoos, shaved head. If the literal rose grows thorns to protect its stem, is that what she was doing? Literally building physical boundaries.
That's exactly the mechanism at play. Thorns on a rose aren't aggressive, right? They are a necessary defensive boundary.
Huh, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, her tattoos and aesthetic choices were protective measures, establishing ownership over her physical space so her core identity could safely bloom without interference.
It seems like holding on to that core identity is the hardest part, though, especially when the world is demanding you change. Which actually brings us to the anime RWBY. The main character is a huntress named Ruby Rose.
Right, she wields this massive size sniper called Crescent Rose to fight literal monsters. But her real struggle is internal.
Right, because by volume 9 of the show, she's basically completely broken by the mental burden of leadership and her perceived failures. She ends up in this magical realm called the Ever-After Great Tree.
Yes, and the tree offers her a way out, a chance to just shed the identity that is causing her all this pain and become someone entirely different.
Honestly, in her shoes, I'd probably take the offer.
I mean, many would. but she declines. After reflecting, she realizes the solution to her failure isn't becoming a different person.
Right. She realizes she was enough, exactly as she is. She returns to the world fundamentally unchanged at her core.
Exactly. The genetic code of the ruby ruby doesn't change when it's moved away from the sunflowers.
So whether you're a literal flower in extreme heat, a bullied kid carving out physical boundaries, or an anime huntress carrying the weight of the world, the answer is never to rewrite your own DNA.
To thrive, you don't need to change the fundamental truth of who you are. You just need to weed out the toxic elements trying to siphon your light.
And find the companion plants that let you drop your defenses. Look closely at the soil you're planted in right now. Are the struggles you're facing a sign that you need to change yourself, or just a sign that it's time to uproot and find a garden where you can truly bloom?